When Dad's wife put her name on Grandma's house for convenience, I didn't fight it. 2 months later she sold it and said we all need to pitch in to buy a new one. I told her to call the realtor who bought it, since technically, that's her family now. My dad's wife sold my grandmother's house and told me I need to help buy a replacement because we're family. She stood in my kitchen yesterday holding a casserole dish like we were having a normal Tuesday conversation. I know it's a lot to ask, but if we all pitch in maybe $50,000 each, we can get something similar in the same neighborhood. Your grandmother would want us to stay together as a family. I just stared at her. The casserole was still steaming. You sold it, I said. You sold Grandma's house. Well, yes, but the market was so good right now, and with the repairs it needed, that house has been in our family for 60 years. She set the casserole down on my counter like this was all very reasonable. And it can be again. That's why I'm here. If we pool our resources, how much did you sell it for? She got very busy adjusting the foil on the casserole. That's not really the point. The point is we have an opportunity to how much? $940,000. I actually laughed. Couldn't help it. You sold a house worth almost $1 million, a house that wasn't yours, and now you want me to give you $50,000 to buy a different house. It was in my name, she said, and her voice got sharp. Legally, it was mine to sell. That was technically true. When my grandmother got sick 2 years ago, she needed help managing her affairs. My dad suggested his wife could help since she understood paperwork. We added her name to the deed for convenience so she could handle repairs, pay property taxes, deal with contractors. My grandmother died 4 months ago. The house was supposed to stay in the family. Grandma wanted us to have that house, I said. Your grandmother wanted us to be taken care of. She pushed the casserole toward me. This is taking care of us. Do you know how much your father's medical bills are going to be when he's older? This is planning ahead. My dad is 58 and healthy. You never know. She picked up her purse. I'm asking nicely. I'm giving everyone a chance to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Everyone? Your brother already said he'd contribute. Your Aunt Linda too. My brother has 2 kids and just bought a house. My Aunt Linda is on disability. You're bleeding them dry for a house you had no right to sell. Her face changed then. Got cold. I had every right. My name was on that deed. If your grandmother wanted it to stay in the family so badly, she should have been more specific about which family she meant. She headed for the door. You have until Friday to decide if you're in or out. After that, we're moving forward without you. She left the casserole. I called my brother that night. He was apologetic, exhausted. I know. But she won't stop calling. And Dad keeps saying we should keep the peace. She sold our grandmother's house. I know. For almost $1 million. I know, he sighed. Look, I can't afford $50,000. I told her I'd give $15,000 just to make her stop. Maybe if we all do that, she'll back off. She won't back off. She'll just have our money and the house money. What else can we do? It's done. But it wasn't done. I spent 3 days looking into it. Turns out when you add someone to a deed for convenience while the original owner is still alive and mentally competent, there are questions you can ask. Questions about intent, about abuse of fiduciary duty, about undue influence. I found an estate lawyer who did a free consultation. He said I had a case, maybe not a winning case, but enough of one to make her life difficult. I didn't sue. Instead, I sent her a text message. I talked to a lawyer about Grandma's house. He said some interesting things about fiduciary duty and elder abuse. I'm not giving you any money. If you want $50,000, call the realtor who bought the house. Since technically, that's your family now. Don't contact me again. She called immediately. I didn't answer. She called 6 more times. Then my dad called. You need to apologize to her, he said. No hello, no how are you. She's crying. She's devastated. She sold Grandma's house and wants me to buy her a new one. She made a decision about an asset that was legally hers. You're being cruel. I'm being cruel? She's trying to plan for our future, and you're throwing around accusations of abuse. That's vile. Something in my chest went very cold. Whose side are you on? There are no sides. We're family. Then why does she get $900,000 while the rest of us get a bill? He hung up on me. That was 3 weeks ago. My brother stopped returning my calls. My Aunt Linda left a voicemail saying she was disappointed in my selfishness. My dad sent me a letter, actual physical mail, explaining that I was destroying this family over money and that I needed to do some serious soul-searching about my priorities. The casserole is still in my fridge. I don't know why I kept it. My dad's wife sent a group text yesterday. She found a house. 4 bedrooms, needs work, $850,000. If everyone contributes their share we can close by March. Attached is the Zillow link. Let me know your thoughts. I didn't respond. But apparently everyone else did, because this morning my cousin called me. I heard what happened with Grandma's house. That's insane. I can't believe she's actually getting away with this. She is getting away with it. Well, for what it's worth, I think you did the right thing. That house was supposed to be for all of us. It was. My grandmother used to make Sunday dinners there. Huge chaotic things with 20 people crammed around a table meant for 8. She taught me to make pie crust in that kitchen. My brother proposed to his wife in that backyard. My kids took their first steps on that living room carpet. Now it belongs to a family from California who paid cash. My dad called again last night. Your brother can't afford his contribution anymore. His daughter needs braces. If you would just help out, we could make this work. No. You're going to let this destroy our family? I'm not the one who destroyed it, I said, and hung up. I keep thinking about that casserole. Chicken and rice, probably. Her specialty. She brought it over like we were going to sit down and have a nice chat about how I could help fund her retirement with the profits from my grandmother's house. Now I'm wondering if I should have just given her the money. My dad isn't speaking to me. My brother barely is. My aunt thinks I'm selfish. Maybe keeping the piece is worth $50,000. Maybe I'm the one making this worse by refusing to let it go. Am I a butthole? My dad showed up at my work. I was in the middle of a meeting with a client when our receptionist came in and whispered that my father was in the lobby, refusing to leave until I spoke with him. I excused myself and found him standing by the elevators with his arms crossed, looking like he'd aged 10 years in 3 weeks. You need to stop this, he said before I could even say hello. I'm working. You can't just show up here. You won't answer my calls. What else am I supposed to do? His voice cracked. Your brother is drowning. Linda had to take out a loan she can't afford. And you're acting like none of this matters. I pulled him into an empty conference room. What exactly do you want from me? I want you to be reasonable. I want you to remember that we're family and family helps each other. He sat down heavily in one of the chairs. She found a house. A good one. But we need everyone to contribute or we lose it. You mean she needs everyone to pay for the house she's buying with the money from selling Grandma's house? That money is gone. The taxes alone. Dad, she sold it for $940,000. Even with taxes and fees, that's still over $700,000. Where did it go? He wouldn't look at me. Just stared at the table. Where did the money go? We had debts. Medical bills from when your grandmother was sick. Credit cards. The roof on our house needed replacing. So she paid off your debts with money from a house that was supposed to stay in the family. She took care of things that needed taking care of. He finally met my eyes. You want to know the truth? Your grandmother's house was falling apart. The foundation had cracks. The electrical was from the 1960s. It would have cost $200,000 just to make it livable again. We couldn't afford that. So you sell it and keep all the money? We didn't keep all of it. We used it for practical things. And now we're trying to buy something we can actually maintain, something that can be a gathering place for the family like Grandma's house was, and you're sabotaging it. I'm not sabotaging anything. I'm just not paying for it. He stood up. Fine. Then don't. But don't expect to be welcome when we do family gatherings there. Don't expect your kids to make memories there like you did at Grandma's. You're choosing money over family, so live with that choice. He walked out. I stood in that conference room for a long time after he left. My brother called that night. Dad came to see you? Yeah. He's desperate. She's got him convinced that if this house deal falls through, it's going to destroy the family, he sighed. I gave her another $5,000. I know. But she showed up at my house and my wife let her in and she started crying about how Dad's health is declining and they need security. His health is fine. That's what I said. But she had all these articles printed out about men in their late 50s and heart disease and stress-related illness. She made it sound like Dad was going to drop dead any minute if we didn't get this house. He paused. I'm tapped out now. I can't give her anything else. But I needed you to know that I tried to hold the line. You gave her $20,000 total? I know. You'll never see that money again. I know. After we hung up, I pulled up the Zillow listing she'd sent. The house was nice, I'll give her that. 4 bedrooms, big backyard, good neighborhood. But it needed work, lots of work. New kitchen, bathrooms were from the 80s, floors were trashed. She was asking everyone to chip in for an $850,000 house that would need another $100,000 in renovations. I did the math. If my brother gave $20,000, and Linda took out a loan for probably $15,000, and my cousin and a few other relatives kicked in maybe $50,000 combined, that still left a massive gap. Which meant either she was planning to take out a huge mortgage, or she was lying about the numbers, or there was more family money I didn't know about. I called Linda. It went to voicemail. I tried twice more before she finally texted me, please stop calling. I can't talk to you right now. What you're doing is cruel. My cousin called me a few days later. I need to tell you something, but you can't tell anyone I told you. Okay. She's been calling everyone in the family. Aunts, uncles, people we haven't talked to in years. She's got this whole story about how your grandmother wanted the house to stay in the family and how you're trying to steal everyone's inheritance by blocking the new house purchase. That's not even close to true. I know. But she's good. She cries at exactly the right moments. She's got photos of Grandma's house, old pictures of all of us there as kids. She makes it sound like you're the villain in this story. My cousin lowered her voice. She told my mom that you threatened to sue her. Said you accused her of elder abuse and that you're trying to get her arrested. I mentioned a lawyer once. In a text. That's it. Well, she's running with it. Half the family thinks you've lost your mind. I hung up and just sat there. She turned this whole thing around. Made herself the victim. Made me the bad guy. And people were believing her. The group text came 2 days later. Update, we're $120,000 short of closing. I know this is a big ask, but if those who haven't contributed yet could dig deep, we can make this happen. This house represents everything Grandma wanted for us. A place to gather, to make memories, to stay connected as a family. Please search your hearts. My aunt replied first. I can do another $3,000 if I skip some bills this month. Then my brother. I'm sorry, I'm completely tapped out. Then Linda. I can try for another $2,000, but that's truly all I have. I watched the messages roll in. Relatives I barely knew offering $500 here, $1,000 there. All of them apologizing for not being able to give more. All of them talking about family and Grandma's memory and staying together. Nobody mentioned that she'd sold a house worth almost $1 million 4 months ago. I typed out a response and deleted it 3 times before finally sending it. I'm curious where the $700,000 plus from Grandma's house went. That's a lot of debt to pay off in 4 months. The group text went silent. Then my dad called. How dare you? How dare you humiliate her like that in front of the whole family? I asked a question. You accused her of lying. In front of everyone. If it's not a lie, then she can answer the question. He hung up. The group text stayed silent for 2 days. Then she removed me from it. My cousin sent me a screenshot of what I missed. I've tried to be patient and understanding, but I can't have someone in this family space who's determined to tear us apart. The money from the sale went to necessary expenses, all of which I have documentation for. Anyone who wants to see the receipts is welcome to ask privately. Moving forward, we need to focus on positive energy only. Apparently 6 people asked to see the receipts. She sent them a PDF with $180,000 in expenses listed. The rest was labeled Family Emergency Fund. My cousin called me. Family Emergency Fund? That's a new one. Do you think she actually has the money? I think she spent it and now she's trying to get everyone else to buy her a new house. My cousin was quiet for a long time. Then, I told my mom I'm not giving her anything. We got in a huge fight about it. She said I'm being selfish like you. I'm sorry. Don't be. You're right. This whole thing is insane. She paused. But I don't think it's going to stop. She's going to keep pushing until she gets what she wants or until there's no family left to push. She was right. Yesterday my dad sent me a letter. Physical mail again, like we're living in 1950. It was 4 pages long, handwritten, explaining how disappointed he was in me, how I changed, how money had corrupted my values. He said my grandmother would be ashamed. I keep reading that last line over and over. Now I'm wondering if I should have just given her the money to keep the peace, or if standing my ground makes me just as bad as everyone says I am. She started calling my boss. I found out when my supervisor pulled me aside on Thursday morning and asked if everything was okay at home. Apparently my dad's wife had called the main office line 3 times claiming there was a family emergency and that I was refusing to help with a crisis situation. She told them I was withholding money that legally belonged to multiple family members and that my mental state was concerning. My supervisor was uncomfortable even bringing it up. Look, I don't know what's going on, and it's none of my business. But she's calling during business hours and it's becoming disruptive. Can you handle this? I called her from my car during lunch. She answered on the first ring. You need to stop calling my workplace. I needed to reach you somehow. You blocked my number. I blocked you because you sold my grandmother's house and expected me to pay for your replacement. Our replacement. For the family. Her voice was sweet, patient, like she was talking to a confused child. I understand you're upset, but involving your employer is unprofessional. I'm trying to keep this within the family. You called my boss. 3 times. I called your office to leave a message because you won't respond to anyone. Your father is having chest pains from the stress. Your brother's marriage is falling apart because of the financial strain. Linda had to cancel a medical procedure because she gave us that loan. But sure, I'm the problem here. Is any of that actually true? She hung up. I called my brother immediately. Is your marriage falling apart? What? No. Why? She told my work that it was. He was quiet for a long moment. She called my wife last week. Told her that I'd promised $50,000 originally and that backing out was putting the whole family in jeopardy. My wife freaked out because we definitely don't have $50,000 and I never promised that amount. We had a huge fight about whether I'd been lying to her about our finances. What did you tell her? The truth. That I gave what I could and that the whole thing is insane. She believes me, but it caused problems we didn't need, he sighed. She's escalating. Yesterday she sent my kids a message on their school portal asking them to talk to their dad about family loyalty. She messaged your kids? The school shut it down after my wife complained. But yeah. I sat in my car staring at the steering wheel. She was going after jobs, spouses, children. Anywhere she could apply pressure. My cousin called that afternoon. Did you know she's posting about this on Facebook? What? Not directly. She's doing the vague post thing. So heartbroken when family chooses money over love and some people forget where they came from. She's got 200 comments of people telling her they're sorry she's going through this. My mom commented, "Stay strong, you're doing the right thing. Can you send me screenshots?" She did. There were 5 posts over the last 2 weeks, each one carefully worded to make her look like a victim. Lots of comments from relatives and family friends offering support, telling her that some people just don't understand the value of family, that she was being so brave and gracious in the face of cruelty. Not one post mentioned the $940,000. I showed them to a friend over dinner. She read through them and then looked at me. This is financial abuse. You know that, right? Of what? I'm not giving her money. Not of you. Of your brother, your aunt, everyone else. She's manipulating them into draining their savings for something that's never going to happen. She scrolled through the posts again. And this social media campaign is designed to isolate you. Make you look like the villain so nobody questions what she's actually doing with the money. So what do I do? Honestly? Nothing. You can't win against someone like this. She'll just twist anything you say or do. She handed my phone back. The only move is not to play. But I couldn't just do nothing. On Saturday I drove to Linda's house. She didn't want to let me in but eventually opened the door. I can't talk long. I have physical therapy in an hour. I thought you canceled your medical procedure. She looked away. That was different. This is just maintenance. Linda, how much did you give her? That's between me and her. She's telling people you took out a loan you can't afford. I can afford it. Can you? I waited. Because if she's pressuring you into debt for a house that's never going to happen, it is going to happen. We're close. Just a few more contributions and there is no house. She spent the money from Grandma's house. She's not buying anything. She's collecting money from everyone and spending it on herself. Linda's face hardened. You don't know that. I know she sold a house for nearly $1 million 4 months ago and is now begging relatives for spare change. Where did the money go? She showed us the receipts. The expenses added up to $180,000. What about the other $520,000? Linda opened the door wider. You need to leave. I'm trying to help you. No, you're trying to make yourself feel better about abandoning your family. Well, it's not going to work. Some of us actually care about keeping this family together. She stepped back. Don't come here again. I drove home feeling sick. She was going to bleed everyone dry and they were going to let her because the alternative was admitting they'd been conned. My dad called Sunday morning. We need to talk. In person. We met at a diner halfway between our houses. He looked terrible, gray and exhausted. He ordered coffee and didn't touch it. Your Aunt Linda is in the hospital. Everything stopped. What happened? She had a fall. Hit her head. She's okay, but the doctors are asking questions about her medications and it turns out she's been skipping doses to save money. He stared at his coffee. Money she gave to us for the house. I didn't say anything. The doctors want to keep her for observation. They're worried about a bleed. And I'm sitting here wondering if this is my fault. He finally looked at me. She gave us $17,000. Money she needed for her medical care. And I let it happen because my wife said it was important for family unity. Is she going to be okay? They think so. But that's not the point. He rubbed his face. I've been going through our finances. Really going through them. The money from your grandmother's house, I thought it went to necessary things. Bills, repairs. But there are charges I don't recognize. A trip to Hawaii I don't remember taking. A new car I never agreed to buy. Credit cards I didn't know we had. Dad. I confronted her this morning. Asked her to show me everything, all the accounts, all the statements. She said I was being paranoid like you. That I was letting your negativity poison our marriage. He picked up his coffee and set it down without drinking. I told her if she didn't show me the bank statements, I was done. So she showed me. He pulled out his phone and handed it to me. Bank statements, credit card bills. I scrolled through them, watching my grandmother's house money disappear into luxury purchases, expensive dinners, online shopping. There's $40,000 left, he said quietly. Out of $730,000 after taxes. She spent the rest in 4 months. What are you going to do? I don't know. He took his phone back. But I can't let her keep taking money from Linda or your brother or anyone else. This has to stop. Will you tell them? He stared out the window for a long time. If I do, the family falls apart. Everyone who gave her money will know they're never getting it back. They'll hate both of us. They might hate you more if you don't tell them, and she keeps collecting. I know. He stood up. I need to go check on Linda. But I wanted you to know that I'm sorry. You were right about all of it and I called you selfish and cruel. I'm sorry. He left cash on the table and walked out. Linda got released from the hospital Monday evening. My cousin told me she's staying with her daughter for a while. My brother hasn't returned my calls since I told him about Dad's discovery. The Facebook post stopped, but the group text is still active. She sent a message yesterday, exciting news. We're so close to making this dream a reality. Just $80,000 more to go. Nobody has responded. I keep thinking about my dad sitting in that diner admitting he'd been wrong. It should feel like vindication, but it just feels hollow. Linda is in the hospital. My brother's finances are wrecked. The family is fractured. And somewhere in all of this, my grandmother's house is gone forever. Now I'm wondering if I should have said something sooner, pushed harder, made them see what was happening before it got this bad. My brother found the receipts she doctored. He showed up at my apartment Tuesday night without calling first. Just knocked until I answered, then walked past me and dropped a manila folder on my kitchen table. I need you to look at something. Inside were printed bank statements, credit card bills, and the PDF she'd sent to relatives showing her expenses from Grandma's house sale. My brother had highlighted sections in yellow. Look at the dates. I looked. The receipts she'd provided showed $180,000 in expenses spread over 2 years. Roof repairs, medical bills for my grandmother, property taxes, foundation work. Except my brother had pulled the actual credit card statements for those same time periods. That roof repair receipt is dated 6 months before Grandma died. But the credit card statement shows that same contractor was paid for work on their house, not Grandma's. Different address. He flipped to another page. These medical bills? They're real. But they were covered by Medicare and supplemental insurance. I called the billing department. Grandma's out-of-pocket was maybe $3,000 total, not the $45,000 she claimed. How did you get all this? Dad gave me access to everything after Linda went to the hospital. He's been going through years of statements trying to figure out where the money went. My brother sat down heavily. She faked receipts. Changed dates, altered amounts, fabricated entire expenses. And we all just believed her because why would someone lie about that? I sat down across from him. Does Dad know? He's the one who noticed the dates were wrong. He remembered when the roof work was actually done because it was during his birthday and the noise drove him crazy. My brother's hands were shaking. He's been sleeping in the guest room for a week. Won't talk to her except about practical things. But he also won't tell anyone what we found because he's terrified of what it means. What does it mean? It means she committed fraud. Against the family. Against her own husband. He leaned back. I talked to a lawyer. Just a consultation. He said if we wanted to pursue this, we'd have a case. Forgery, fraud, elder exploitation since she took advantage of Grandma's illness to get her name on the deed. But it would mean pressing charges. Against Dad's wife. Would Dad do that? I don't know. He keeps saying he needs more time to think. My brother rubbed his eyes. But while he's thinking, she's still collecting money from people. Aunt Linda gave her everything she had. Our cousins are taking out loans. And she's just spending it. On what? He pulled out another statement. A boat. She bought a boat last week. $35,000. While texting everyone that we're $80,000 away from our dream home. I stared at the receipt. A boat. Not even trying to hide it anymore. She thinks she's untouchable, my brother said. She thinks as long as she has Dad on her side, the rest of us will fall in line because we don't want to hurt him. What do you want to do? I want to tell everyone. Show them the real statements, the fake receipts, all of it. Let them decide what to do with the information. He looked at me. But Dad asked me not to. Said it would destroy what's left of the family. Said we should handle it privately. How's that working out? It's not. She's escalating. Yesterday she sent another group text asking for contributions. Said her friend is a real estate agent and found us an incredible deal if we can move fast. She needs $60,000 by Friday. There is no house. I know that. You know that. Dad knows that. But everyone else is still hoping she's telling the truth because the alternative is too awful to accept. He left the folder with me. Told me to keep it somewhere safe in case we needed it later. After he left, I sat at my table reading through everything. The fake receipts were good, professional looking. If you didn't know what to look for, you'd never question them. She'd thought of everything. Except she hadn't counted on Linda ending up in the hospital. Hadn't counted on Dad actually going through the statements. Hadn't counted on my brother being meticulous enough to check dates and call billing departments. I called my cousin. I need to tell you something, but you can't tell your mom yet. I explained everything. The fake receipts, the real expenses, the boat. She was quiet for a long time. My mom gave her $8,000 last week. Took it out of her retirement account early and paid the penalty because she said it was urgent. My cousin's voice was shaking. I told her not to. I begged her not to. But she said family was more important than money and that I'd understand when I was older. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Just tell me what we do now. I don't know. My brother wants to expose her, but my dad doesn't want the family to know. The family deserves to know. They're getting robbed. She paused. I'm going to tell my mom. Tonight. And I'm going to tell her she needs to warn everyone else before more people empty their savings. Your mom might not believe you. Then I'll show her the statements. I'll make her believe me. She hung up. My phone rang at midnight. My cousin's mom, screaming so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. How dare you poison my daughter against family? How dare you spread lies about someone who's only trying to help? You're sick. You're twisted. And you're going to regret this. She hung up before I could respond. My cousin texted me 10 minutes later. She called her. Warned her that you're trying to sabotage the house purchase by making up documents. Now she's sending out a mass email to everyone defending herself and saying you've been harassing her for months. I'm sorry. I thought she'd listen. The email arrived in my inbox at 1 a.m. It was sent to 37 family members, including me. Subject line, setting the record straight. She detailed every interaction we'd had since Grandma died. Painted herself as patient and understanding while I was bitter and jealous. Said I'd been angry since Grandma added her name to the deed because I'd expected to inherit the house myself. Claimed I'd been spreading vicious rumors about her finances because I couldn't stand that she was successful. She attached the fake receipts again. Wrote a whole paragraph about how hurtful it was to have her integrity questioned. Ended with, I've tried to keep this family together despite constant attacks on my character. But I can't continue to subject myself to this abuse. Anyone who wants to be part of our family home is welcome. Anyone who chooses to believe lies over love is free to make that choice. My phone started ringing at 6 a.m. Relatives I hadn't talked to in years calling to yell at me. My aunt called me a liar. My uncle said I was tearing the family apart over jealousy. My second cousin said she always knew I was trouble. Nobody asked to see my brother's statements. Nobody questioned her version. They just believed her and attacked me. My brother called at 7 a.m. She's making her move. Dad's scared. Says she's threatening to leave him if he doesn't publicly support her. Says she'll tell everyone he's been abusing her, controlling her money, isolating her from friends. Is any of that true? Of course not. But she's already laid the groundwork. Those Facebook posts about being heartbroken? She's been setting this up for months. He sounded exhausted. Dad's breaking. I can see it. He's going to choose her over the truth because he can't face what that means about his marriage. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. But this ends soon, one way or another. He hung up. I sat in my apartment staring at my phone as it continued ringing with angry relatives. The email was still open on my laptop. She'd won. Turned the whole family against me while covering up fraud. And somewhere in all of this, my dad was deciding whether to tell the truth or protect his wife. I keep thinking about those fake receipts, how professional they looked, how much planning went into this. She didn't just steal from us. She engineered it. And now she's engineering her escape. My dad filed for divorce on a Wednesday. I found out because he called me from a lawyer's office, voice steady in a way that made my chest hurt. I need you to know before anyone else tells you. I filed this morning. She's being served right now. What changed? Linda's daughter called me. Said her mom is selling her house to cover medical bills because she can't afford them anymore. Because she gave us every penny she had. He was quiet for a moment. I looked at Linda in that hospital bed and I knew I couldn't protect her anymore. Couldn't protect myself. So I'm not. The papers included everything. Fraud, forgery, financial elder abuse for exploiting my grandmother's illness to get on the deed. My dad's lawyer had been building the case for 2 weeks, gathering statements from the bank, the real estate agent who handled Grandma's house sale, even the contractor whose receipts she'd altered. He was going after her for everything. The family is going to hate me, he said. Some of them already do. I know. But this is the right thing and I should have done it months ago. He paused. I'm sorry I didn't believe you. She fought back exactly like my brother predicted. Sent another mass email claiming my dad was having a breakdown, that I'd manipulated him into this, that she was the victim of a family conspiracy. Posted on Facebook about abusive marriages and gaslit wives. Called every relative personally to cry about how she dedicated years to this family only to be accused of crimes she didn't commit. Some people believed her. My aunt stopped speaking to my dad entirely. 2 cousins sent him messages calling him a coward for abandoning his wife when she needed him most. The Facebook posts got hundreds of supportive comments from people who didn't know the real story. But my brother sent the bank statements to everyone who'd contributed money. All of them. Every single relative who'd emptied savings accounts or taken out loans or skipped bills to help buy the house that never existed. He sent the fake receipts side by side with the real credit card statements. Sent proof of the boat purchase, the Hawaii trip, the new car. He didn't editorialize. Didn't add commentary. Just sent the documents with a subject line that said you deserve to know where your money went. The group text exploded. People demanding explanations, threatening legal action, sharing their own stories of pressure and manipulation. My cousin's mom posted a public apology on Facebook admitting she'd been wrong to defend her. 3 relatives said they were filing police reports. She deleted all her social media that night. Linda's daughter started a small claims case to recover the $17,000. My brother consulted with a lawyer about getting back his $20,000. My cousin's mom wanted her $8,000 back. The lawyer told them to get in line, that my dad's divorce proceedings took priority and any assets recovered would go through that process first. Turns out there were no assets. She'd spent everything. The boat was financed. The car was leased. The bank accounts were empty except for $3,000. My dad's retirement account that had $180,000 in it 2 years ago was down to $40,000. She'd been forging his signature on withdrawal forms. The divorce took 4 months. She fought every step, claimed she deserved half of everything because she'd been a devoted wife, demanded alimony, wanted the house. My dad's lawyer buried her in evidence. Forged documents, fraudulent statements, testimony from family members she'd manipulated into giving her money. The judge wasn't sympathetic. Ruled that she'd committed fraud against her own husband and his family, that she was entitled to nothing. Granted my dad full ownership of their house, his remaining retirement funds, everything. Ordered her to pay restitution to Linda and my brother from any future earnings. She moved in with a friend 2 states away. Last I heard she's working at a retail store and claiming she's the victim of a vindictive ex-husband. Still posting on Facebook under a new account about family betrayal and false accusations. My dad sold the house he'd shared with her. Said he couldn't live somewhere with those memories. He's renting a small apartment now, goes to therapy twice a week. We have dinner every Sunday. He doesn't talk about her much, but sometimes I catch him staring at nothing with this look on his face like he's trying to figure out where the last 5 years of his life went. Linda recovered physically but the financial damage was permanent. Her daughter set up a fundraiser that covered some of the medical bills but not all of them. She had to sell her house anyway, moved into a smaller place, works part-time at a library to make ends meet. She doesn't come to family gatherings anymore. Says it's too hard. My brother's marriage survived but barely. His wife looks at him differently now, like she's waiting for the other shoe to drop. They're in counseling. He says it's helping but I can hear the exhaustion in his voice when we talk. The family fractured exactly how my dad predicted. Half the people who gave her money blame themselves. The other half blame us for not stopping it sooner. Holiday gatherings are tense, awkward affairs where people avoid certain topics and leave early. Nobody talks about Grandma's house. It's like a wound we all agreed not to touch. I drove past it last month. The new owners painted it blue, put up a fence, added a playground in the backyard. There were kids playing in the yard where my brother proposed to his wife, where I learned to make pie crust, where my grandmother hosted Sunday dinners for a family that doesn't really exist anymore. My dad asked me the other day if I thought we'd have been better off just letting her get away with it. If keeping the peace would have been worth the price. I told him I didn't know. And I really don't. We got justice, consequences, accountability. We exposed fraud and stopped her from bleeding more people dry. But the cost was everything else. Linda's health, my brother's savings, my dad's marriage, the family unity my grandmother spent 60 years building. She's gone and we're left picking up pieces that don't fit together anymore. I still have that casserole dish in my cabinet. Never did give it back. Sometimes I look at it and think about how she stood in my kitchen offering me food while planning to rob my family blind. How she smiled and talked about togetherness while spending my grandmother's legacy on boats and vacations. The house is gone. The money is gone. Half the family isn't speaking to the other half. And somewhere 2 states away she's probably telling some new friend about her terrible ex-husband and his ungrateful children who ruined her life over money. I was right about everything. The fraud, the manipulation, the fake receipts. I stood my ground when everyone told me I was wrong. And I'd do it again because she needed to face consequences. But standing here in the aftermath, Watching my dad eat dinner alone in his tiny apartment, seeing Linda struggle to pay bills she shouldn't have, listening to my brother's marriage slowly crack under the weight of financial stress, I keep wondering if being right was worth what it cost us.